Greetings. Today I'm doing another video on comparing colors, exporting my images from Raw Therapy to Gimp, also Lightroom Classic to Adobe Photoshop. So I'm going to follow the very similar procedure. So here we saw the image in Raw Therapy. If you need to look at the previous video so you have an understanding what was happening. If I come over to Lightroom Classic, we can see here the differences between the two programs. In this, if I come down the bottom and we see the film strip and I right click on this image, come up to edit in and we can see Adobe Photoshop. So I've done several exports here. If I head back over to Raw Therapy, if I come down to the palette and edit in an external editor, which I have set up for Gimp. So I'm just going to head over to Photoshop to begin with. And once again, I'm using the color checker. And what I have here, if I come to edit, convert to profile, it's set to Pro Photo. Also, if I come over to Gimp, if I come to image, color management, convert to color profile, we can see we're in Pro Photo. Again, we're going to alternate between the images to see the differences between the two programs, how the colors are rendering and how it looks on screen. So here, I'll come up to Photoshop, see once again, very close. As I said in the last video, just slightly more saturated in the red. You can see here, very close. See a little bit more saturation here. So the next image here, this is Adobe 98, also in Photoshop. We have Adobe 98, and I'll just alternate between the two once again. So Photoshop, Gimp, Photoshop. Just slightly more saturated. It's very close. See the colors along the top here. Very close. See a slight change in the yellow. Slightly more saturated. So now I'll come to select an image as we saw previously. So we're in Pro Photo here. If I go back to Gimp on the end here, I'll just make sure I have the Pro Photo. Color management, convert to color profile. Yep, Pro Photo. I'll alternate between the two once again. So Gimp, Photoshop. As mentioned in the previous video, we know the shadows are a bit more opened up here. In Gimp, you can see small shadows here. So if we take a closer look here in Gimp on the out of focus areas, seems to be doing quite a good job. If I come to Photoshop, I can start to see a little bit of blotching here in the vignette areas. So this is in Pro Photo, but if I change it to Adobe 98, we can see that problem seems to go away. So if I turn back to Pro Photo, we can see there, if I come to Adobe 98, it seems to clear that problem up. I'll go to Gimp, I'll select the Adobe 98, I'll alternate between the two. Gimp's really giving good results. And lastly, I'll select the image here, which I've set to sRGB. come back to Photoshop and last image here. I'll just check to make sure I have the right one selected. Convert to color profile, sRGB, Gimp. sRGB. So now I'll alternate between the two once again. So that's a look at exporting images from Raw Therapy to Gimp, also Lightroom Classic to Photoshop, and the differences that I've found through experimenting with Gimp being a free and open source software. Also Raw Therapy, they've been doing a great job getting good results, and just having some comparisons compared to a subscription-based photo editing software. Peace be unto you.